Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to our second match for today. We are going to be watching the lower brackets for the FSL Thailand qualifiers, and right now are into picks and bans after a short delay, largely due to waiting for the match between Alternative Ladies and the side of Eanghwa to finish. But now we have found a victor. It's going to be Eanghwa going up against Opononi, who are currently looking down a first pick Corki. Not too bad of a flex pick if you ask me. You can go top, mid, or AD carry.
Right out the bat though, I'm going to give the advantage over to Opononi. I think if anyone was watching the Eanghwa versus Alternative Ladies game,
Super messy.
super messy. I think both teams were, very back and forth. Neither team really knew how to end the game. It's that sort of indecisiveness that really lose you the games. I think Opononi has showed that they know how to play towards their plan. I think they should take this game as well.
But right now, the Jarvan being leaked through the pick and ban phase will be insta-locked here, and the second option here might just be a top lane or a AD carry. I think you pinched the pool quite a bit already with the Caitlyn and Zaya, so now perhaps looking at AD carry, but possibly a disconnect coming through though. Nope, it's going to be a Nami, alright, waiting it down to the wire.
I believe we have seen a Nami yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah, Nami was particularly popular with some of the teams that were drafting long-ranged AD carries. So I think Nami, Caitlyn is one of the stronger combinations. Nami, Ezreal as well, but Renekton here locked in on the opposite side for Comfy Roof, who has had a very good performance today so far on the Kled and now on the Renekton. And I love this synergy coming through. Renekton Sejuani is ridiculously strong as a top jungle duo.
It's going to be a very oppressive laner. We can see Comfy Roof loves to prioritize these sorts of lane bullies. First he goes for the Kled, now he's locking in the Renekton. Like you said, Sejuani Renekton is going to be a pretty good gank lane against the Poppy.
Yeah, but interestingly enough, sending a Poppy to deal with this once more, I don't feel like this is going to be a good matchup to be too wise, because the Poppy is just going to have to sort of take the loss gracefully in the top side, probably lose a couple of plates and CS, and perhaps try to impact the team fights a bit more. Of course, there is the option to deny the engage from Sejuani and Renekton with a steadfast presence, but it's sort of a game of chicken right at that point. It's who uses what first. Looking for the next set of bans here, so now it's going to be looking to ban out the Nautilus, so good choice coming in. We saw Zaya Nautilus, super popular, but now the bot laners have been removed from the pool, no longer available.
Talking a little bit about the Poppy though, I think it might actually be a bit of a knee-jerk reaction. I think since we saw the Poppy being a very strong pick yesterday, maybe some of these teams are actually trying to pick it up now, even maybe if they don't have that much practice. So not exactly sure if this Poppy is going to be, give us the same sort of pop-off performance like we did yesterday, but against Renekton Sejuani, it's going to be a pretty hard lane for her to deal with.
Not just that, I think the idea of people thinking Poppy is a strong, stable pick in the top lane is a bit overrated. There are better options that you can pick up in the top side to get away with. I don't think Poppy is one of them. She's really a direct counter pick to things like Aurelia, people that rely on dashes, and Renekton is not really one of them. You can go Tiamat, just clear the wave, and multiple ways to itemize as well for Renekton. You can go for Shojin split push, or you can go Black Cleaver team fight. So the Poppy is too one-dimensional to deal with the Renekton, is what I'm trying to say. Meanwhile, Syndra will be the last ban here on the side of Opononi, so once more they will have the option to sort of stave off the mid lane pool and look for what they want. I think Nacha Adventure did play the Lux when the Ahri was denied away. Might just be the Orianna hover here, but showing double solo lanes on the red side. Not really my sort of drafting style. I like to keep the last pick from mid lane or top lane to give them a good solo lane advantage, but this time holding on to AD carry as the last pick here.
Yep, this allows for Opononi on the blue side to sort of pick a favorable lane against the Orianna. We saw her yesterday.
Right.
Pretty good performance against the, I want to say,
Cassiopeia,
correct. That was a pretty good Orianna performance, I think. Talk a little bit about the Poppy Jarvan. I think there is the synergy there, so that might be one reason why they actually went for that.
Right.
On the other side though, we do see the Kai'Sa Braum. We've seen this pair yesterday as well. Sort of a balanced lane, I think.
Right.
With the defensive options for the Braum, Kai'Sa obviously going to be able to proc those concussive blows pretty well as well.
Interesting that they did opt to go traditional bot lane, like you said, Kai'Sa Braum, because there was every option available for them to do Corki bot lane, pair it with maybe even a Yumi, along the lines of that, and have a decent mid lane counter pick matchup. But no, they say we're comfortable playing the Corki into the Orianna. It's fine that we showed it early. Nothing too dangerous for us there, but it's going to be the last pick, Jinx here, the counter pick, as it were. Jinx Nami, like I said, Nami, you want to pair her with AD carries with a bit more of a long range to be
Yep.
more oppressive. And with Jinx, you can switch to those rockets to get the extended range, and it becomes very oppressive indeed when it comes to laning against Kai'Sa Braum, because then you have very good sustain, and you have the ability to lock down the Braum when he puts up the Unbreakable. So of course, this is a lane that's super beneficial in favor of the side of Yinghua.
Yeah, across the board, I think we can actually give the advantage over the Yinghua a little bit. I think Orianna does come online slightly earlier than the Corki, even though both of these mid laners are going to be able to chunk out a lot of damage.
Right.
In the mid game, real question mark for me right now is a Renekton Poppy, because I think Poppy does have the tools to sort of mitigate the sort of lane bully dominance that Renekton brings, but a good Renekton can still circumvent that pretty well.
One thing, like you mentioned, the idea of the Renekton Sejuani, overall their composition from Opononi, I feel, is deviating from sort of their textbook style, right?
Yep.
We tend to see them as a team identity being team fighting and picking. So their primary win condition, for the most part, is always drafting hard engaged team fight, and then if they fall behind, they play something that can enforce picks, like the Ahri, like the Varus, like the Lux. This time completely different. They're going for two strong side laners in the form of the Corki Renekton, and having a sort of utility front line in the form of Sejuani and Braum. So there's no longer the pick option. This is scaling at its finest.
Keep in mind, though, they still can play the team fight, obviously. I think if Renekton and Sejuani are able to build some tanky items, they will be able to provide frontline.
Right.
Renekton's going to come in for some devastating flanks, and Corki Kai'Sa can still pump out that backline damage.
Right. So once again, maybe the secondary condition no longer there, the idea of making picks, but maybe the primary is still there. Of course, you still have reliable engage, like you mentioned, from Sejuani Braum. So this time, it's a bit of a tweak or adaptation in terms of the picks and bans, and this is what we're talking about right now. A tournament that spends 2 days, your opponents are going to be watching your games. They will be targeting things that you're comfortable with. So if you look at the opposite side, their bans were very focused on this.
Yep.
Don't give them picks, don't give them hard engage. So Nautilus and Ahri both removed, no Kled as well. So now Opononi changing and adapting their strategy.
Let's take a look at Yanghua's composition, actually, though. I think if you bring the Poppy, Jarvan, or Orianna to the fight, I think obviously you want to go in.
Ooh,
You
yeah.
want to go in hard, man. You put the Orianna ball onto Jarvan, chain the ultimates, and that's going to be a lot of damage coming in for
Right.
the side of Yanghua. So they want a team fight as well.
For sure, and I think they're okay giving the Renekton a small lead, because when it comes to team fighting, the value of the Poppy is the ability to remove a single member from the fight with Keeper's Verdict. You knock them out, and suddenly you have a 4v5, right? Whether they like it or not, it's a 4v5. And then you win the fight from there, because you can have the manpower advantage. You then look to maybe get Jinx ahead in these fights, focus the target down, get excited, and then start to chain that forward with the Nami behind her. So of course, like you said, team fighting and looking to isolate targets might be the best choice here coming in for the side of Yinghua. Overall, though, their scaling isn't too bad either. They do have the Jinx, they do have the Orianna, so reliable wave clear in the form of the Mage mid as well as the AD carry. Whether they do get to that point, though, is the question, because they've been rather sloppy. Let's not mince words, right? They've been very sloppy in terms of execution. In the previous game, you saw the shot calling was undecisive, the macro play was sloppy at best, and overall, the team just doesn't fully understand what their win conditions are sometimes.
Yeah, and contrast that over to Opononi, who we've seen consistently able to close out these games. Once they get the Baron, they know exactly what they want to do with it. They're able to take objectives cleanly off the map, and they just push into your base with that coordination that you don't
Right.
see from a Yanghua.
One thing that impressed me a lot was during laning phase, I think Comfy Roof on that clit, after getting a hit by herself, getting a couple of solo kills, she immediately communicated to the team, I'm coming bot lane, I have my ultimate, we can dive this and snowball even further. That's not something you see a lot of teams do, especially when it comes to, a pro-M level at a high tier. Sure, that's expected. But right now, the level of macro communication, not a lot of teams have the sort of ingenuity to sort of execute that.
Yep, should be loading in the game soon, but I want to draw a bit of attention to with Jinx Nami bot lane. It's not a pair that we see all too often. Like if we do see a Nami, usually it's paired with the Caitlyn, but Jinx definitely able to become that hyper carry. It takes a bit more to get going than the Kai'Sa, I think. But if you're able to keep this Jinx safe and farmed up later on in the game,
Right.
she can become very devastating.
I do expect this Jinx to move into the Infinity Edge double ZU item build.
Yep.
Of course, there is the variation on that. Some Jinx players do go for Essence Reaver to come online earlier and to sort of deal with the mana issues that comes with using the rockets. So there are flexible paths in terms of how you want to itemize. Overall, now that we are in the loading screen taking a look at the keystones, Renekton this time opting to go for Press the Attack instead of Conqueror, which signals to us that this top laner Comfy Roof wants to take these small trades with the I want to say Ruthless Predator, the W. So you press the attack very quickly, Ruthless Predator, trade and go back out.
Yep.
You don't want to take long-term fights because I think Poppy on her own right can sort of deal the damage back as good as she receives it with the Grasp of the Undying.
Yep, Poppy with the Grasp of Undying definitely understands that she's definitely going to fall behind in health against this Renekton, brings in a bit more sustain so she can stay in lane and hopefully not miss out on too much CS in the laning phase.
The fact of, or at least the idea of Grasp of the Undying on top laners is such a strong lose the matchup gracefully keystone, because even though you are, losing trades, you're still racking up health, you're still able to sustain yourself in lane and get to a point where you can teamfight effectively, so it's going to become a cornerstone for a lot of these top laners. As we are on the Rift, on the blue side it's going to be Opononi, and on the red Hua. Once more, the stakes are high, loser goes home, winner advances forward, and Opononi, after coming off the win earlier today, oh man, my favorite corgi skin.
Yes, only slightly biased.
Especially when he picks up like the package, right? It becomes like a box of like a litter of puppies underneath instead of like bombs. So it's like furry death from above and you don't expect it, but when it Valkyries across you, you're just like, well, this is over.
Furry death from above.
Package delivered.
Okay, well, that's not a sentence I thought I'd be hearing today, but still. I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. I've never actually noticed the skin, what was it, box of puppies?
Yeah, it's basically a box. Later when we pick up the package, I'll kindly direct your attention to it.
Sure.
One thing I want to note was that the Jarvan did drop an early ward on the Pixel Brush in the river, and then now did recall for an early sweeper. So this is like full efficiency if you're a jungler, right? Although you do lose out on a small timing window, you kind of manage to get value from the ward, and now you can look for level 2 cheese ganks, level 3 cheese ganks with the sweeper.
Yep, both teams, both junglers are actually going for the red buff respectively. I think if this Jarvan might actually should have gone for the, I think the blue buff to get an early gank in their top lane. Possibly, mitigate the sort of pressure that Renekton brings on.
Normally when you see junglers, and especially in Jarvan's case, start with red buff, it usually signals to me that they want to make something happen early on, because the nature of the buff is as such, once you hit 3.5 minutes, 4 minutes, the buff times out and there's nothing much you can do to get the additional slow, right? So this is an indication of early aggression coming in, and of course you see she's heading to the top side. Devoid wants to make something happen. There you go, using the sweeper with the early recall. So the picture is starting to sort of form together. You can see the whole strategy coming in. This is an early plan that they are looking to enforce, and it's a signal of good things to come. Gank coming in, Flag and Drag is going to knock the Renekton up, and the Steadfast Presence is going to keep her inside, and good damage now, but she's going to turn this one around and gets the kill immediately onto the Jarvan before she goes down. Outplaying that gank coming in, and although it was so well planned, so strategically executed, the overall play did go the way of the Renekton with the first blood.
That's the point I wanted to bring before the fight actually started. Jarvan definitely a champion that can go for those level 2 ganks, but against, the Renekton who brings a lot of early damage, I think you definitely have to be careful. In the end, she ended up not doing so, and gives over a kill over the top lane.
Remember, there was a level 2 Renekton that managed to take the trade over, so she will be able to buy here, but meanwhile the Jinx is isolated, and here comes the Sejuani for the level 2 gank. Does have the flash, so I don't think they will be able to connect onto this one. Managing to dodge away from the winner's bite. Concussive blows not being procced as well. And this Jarvan is going to spot out the Sejuani. So overall, gank for gank. Lemon Sugar not getting the kill, but her bot laners doing the work early on does mean that both teams are more or less equal except for early kill over.
Yep, credit over to Summers on this Jinx though. Understands that he's in a 1v2 situation and jungler might actually be there. Begins to back off early, does not try to overpush the lane.
Jarvan going to collect her own blue buff. Meanwhile, mid-wave getting shot in early, priority going the way of the Corki with the corrupting potion, and good deal of damage coming through. You can see the Orianna already out of mana, taking the bare brunt of the trades, because it is the nature of this Corki early on to be a bit of a lame bully sometimes. You can see why they're comfortable playing the Corki into Orianna as well.
Yep, definitely Corki having... Corki? Yeah, Corki. I keep mixing up Corgi and Corki, but Corki...
It's Corgi.
Corgi 100% has priority earlier on this lane. We should nothing too much out of the ordinary here, just pushing in the Orianna under her tower.
Just waiting for the small window of power when the package comes in, but right now, like you said, clearing the wave out, being very content, farming it up. Early wards being put near the Raptor camp, though you can see Sejuani on her right, there's a ward right there. So she will be able to take this Scuttle Crab freely without any contest. Shoves it into the brush, and if the Jarvan rounds the corner, this should signal to the rest of the team that, hey, J4's playing top side, we can be more careful and be more aggressive from the other end.
Yep, does get spotted out by his ward though, so Opononi here does know that Jarvan is towards the top side. That Scorpius Blue did not spot out the Sejuani, did it?
No, it did not. It stopped at the blue buff, so Sejuani's knowledge of the Sejuani, rather, the location is completely withheld right now.
So both junglers actually topside shadowing their lane. Some pings coming down for both of them. Might see a gank here actually being set up from both sides.
Yeah, but see, the wave is pushing towards the Renekton and she's playing super aggressively, going in with the all-in and finding the kill already. Jarvan coming a bit too late now. This is a problem. The Void having to back off, and like I said, the wave pushing for Comfy Roof. Knowing that she had the advantage in that trade, just goes for the all-in.
Right, the Void right now has to be very careful. There could be a dive here, but nope. Mitigated by the teleport from the Poppy.
Super important for her to use the teleport because there's a wave and a half that had to be chased. You can see she's about 12 CS behind, and that's largely the wave being stacked and shoved in. So now the teleport advantage will go the way of Renekton when it does come up. There's a small window there, but for now, 2-1-0, very scary Crocodile in the top lane.
Really unfortunate though. If you saw when Poppy teleported back and she was in fact level 4, when the Renekton has been level 6 for quite a while already. So that is one deficit that she definitely has to come back from if she wants to if she wants any chance of coming out even in this lane.
Problem here is, like, if the Jarvan comes to the top lane once more in a 2v2, there is almost no way to get a counter kill. So if you're the Poppy, you just try and stay alive, sustain yourself up and soak the EXP.
If this Jarvan comes back to top lane, Renekton actually should be able to 2v1. Might actually come out with 1 or 2 kills.
As long as the dominance is up, I think she'll be willing to make that play and make that trade. Meanwhile, Jarvan heading to the bot side. You can see bot lane pushing up. There is a control ward in the river, so the Void might be able to sneak in, but opting not to do so. Meanwhile, Sparky and WRDZ is going to spot this control ward out, clear it away. As the Void is looking to journey into the mid lane, sweeping out this brush on the side, coming in for a flag and drag. Only going to knock the Corki up as she turns away and takes a bit more damage in the back for that trade. I don't think Nacha Avenger is going to be too worried about this, considering that the Orianna's out of mana.
Yep, Jarvan just keep looking for these ganks even though he doesn't have the ultimate or his backup. This is dominant pop in top side though.
Yeah, using the slice and dice, getting ahead of this trade, but a great keeper's verdict denies the kill, and now Snell is just sitting once more in the top half, sustaining up with the corrupting potion. Cannot be too handsy though because slice and dice should be up soon. Moving forward with the ruthless predator, call the meek, too much damage. Oh boy, like I said, too handsy, overstaying, and Comfy Roof gets the 3rd kill for this top side.
Yeah, you want to pick up your belt buckle, but unfortunately Renekton now knows that as well. He can't see it, so when you try to go for it, he knows he can just cut you off and try to kill you.
This is what we're talking about though, as we enter a bit of a freeze frame. The problem on the top side, Snell has to be just alive soaking EXP. The moment you go down, you're down in levels, you're down EXP. It becomes so much more problematic when you enter the teamfight phase, being down 2 levels compared to the Renekton. She's in the respawn chamber right now. If no teleport means that she should be able to walk back after losing a bunch of CS.
If you direct your attention to the bot side though, while we still have the game on, if you take a look at the minimap, we actually do see there might be a fight starting out against Nami and the Braum.
Alright, wow, great timing there, Chufan, as we turn over our attention. Concussive blows, 1 away from getting the stun on Nami, but good damage being thrown back across. Remember, out of mana now, the Jinx. Doesn't have any sort of offensive stats to speak of, only went for the Cull. Meanwhile, the Kai'Sa with the pickaxe already doing a good deal of damage across. Here comes the gang from the Sejuani. Don't manage to creep into the back line. Uptick assault is up, and so is the flash. They flash forward at the same time, but the Aqua Prison is going to keep them held up. Concussive blows coming through for the damage, and now they will be able to find a kill onto the Jinx, turning it across. Not enough damage to get a counter kill, but great coordination coming in from the jungle in support of Opononi.
Yep, tons of bonus damage coming in from all 3 members of the side of Opononi. Now your Kai'Sa's 2-0-0, she's in a very comfortable spot. There's a bounty on her. She should be able to pick up her first item relatively soon.
You can see the coordination there. I love watching players do that, when they make the call and they both flash at the same time to get the CC down and chain it upon each other. So Arctic assault onto a flash, following a Winner's Bite into concussive blows. That Nami, despite having flash, was stunned up for days.
Yep, and now take a look at CS discrepancy. This Jinx is so far behind, even forced to use teleport earlier this game, means that she is unable to pick up the minion wave that just died under her tower.
Oh, that's a fuse bad right there. And sorry, it was the Jinx that died, not the Nami in the bot lane, but still 0-1 each. It's a bad spot to be in if you're looking to scale up as this lane bully. And there you go, it's a dog treats. It's not a box of puppies. It's dog treats instead, which
still
to be fair, yeah, extremely adorable. Oh man, what a great skin. Good job, right?
Good job, right? Meanwhile, if you're Angwa right now, you're pretty happy with the vision setup that you have around this Infernal Drake. If this bot lane of Jinx and Nami is able to push up, I think they actually just try to go for it.
Yeah, coming up here with the package, popping their dominance already. The wall slam is going to shove Comfy Roof in as she gets CC'd up, and they're going to mitigate the dive by juggling the aggro around. A bit of a misplay coming through as Nacha Adventure falls to a third of her health, but with the Sejuani approaching, I think this should be a turret taken down by the side of Opononi here.
Yangwa does try to answer this with Dragon being taken by Jarvan right now. Shouldn't be too difficult unless... No, their bot lane's pushed up as well, and Ori should be able to get 1 or 2 turret plates.
So they trade objective for objective, like you said, top tier 1. First turret bonus as well going the way of Opononi, but with bot and mid prio, the Dragon is going to be taken by Jarvan now. Can they make anything else happen though? Because they're falling behind 4k in gold, and I don't think they're going to be able to scale up anytime soon.
Unless they are able to find this gank, which they shouldn't, because if you take a look, Opononi's bot lane is playing very safe. As I say that, here we go!
Pastor's Curse coming in, the Tidal Wave knocking her up in the Aqua Prison. Unfortunately, the kill goes over to Yeji, which is not who you want to get the gold on, but nevertheless a kill is a kill, and it frees up the map a bit more at least.
Right, you know the Jarvan's actually there, never mind, we see a fine mid lane.
Just a bit of trades coming through as I say that the Shockwave is going to connect on Nacha Adventure. Bell now running away. Foster's Bomb is going to light her up. And still, the teleport being used on the bottom side might just signal to us that a flank is coming through. Remember, no Tidal Wave available.
What?
They disengage pretty well. And a bit of a wasted teleport you have to feel right there in the bottom side.
It's fine, I mean, he's not going to lose too much from his top side. Maybe they just loot try for a... I don't know, maybe a sort of siege in the bot side. A little unlikely, but they actually might try to go for it.
This is classic Comfy Roof though. Remember earlier in the game she did the exact same thing, you know, despite being on a different champion. Now spreading her advantage to the bot lane. Meanwhile, Lemon Sugar coming in. Remember that the Glacial Prison is available. No flash though. She comes in and locks her down. Might be able to get the kill. Glacial Prison flashed away from Great CC being dodged out. Bell with the fancy feet will escape death this time, as a full rotation comes in from not only the Braum but also the Renekton into the mid lane.
So all 5 members of Opononi here are on the bottom side. They might actually try to go siege for the mid lane tower, which isn't looking way too healthy right now.
Bell now recalling, looking for her next set of items. It looks to be the Luna's Echo coming in as we encounter a bit of a freeze frame.
Yes, zoom in on the corner. Yes. I love this skin so much.
And this is a deadly Corki right now because the items are coming through soon. Trinity Force should be completed, and make no mistake, even though it looks adorable, we'll be able to solo the Orianna out when the time comes.
100%. To get back into game right now, Poppy's actually forced to come down towards the mid lane, defend this lane, even though no one's actually picking it right now. So it's just a bit of a waste of a rotation.
It's still good though because she needs to collect the EXP to keep up against the Renekton. Remember, earlier couple of solo kills resulted in her falling behind. Level 8 Poppy to the level 9 Renekton. So collecting EXP as and when she can is going to be the best bet for her right now.
Gotta be careful here if you're Summers.
You see the Sejuani sitting on the side. No Glacial Prison though means the kill threat is significantly lowered as our scoreboard swaps to the gold. I just want to talk about the difference between the Renekton and the Poppy is a whopping 2.5, well 2k gold, let's call it even. 2k gold lead for the Renekton.
Yep, this Renekton, like we said, is going to be very oppressive. He was very oppressive in the laning phase, and now we want to see if he's able to, you know, transfer that into the other lanes that he has. But looks pretty content just chilling out on the top side right now.
The strong side of the map belonging to Comfy Roof as she pressures it out top. Now gonna walk in with the steadfast presence and find 2 members here. She will get, or excuse me, not get the rip off as she might eventually fall here as the Comfy Roof will take her down. The Keeper's Verdict a bit too late to pump them away. Bell only arriving to see the kill go over to members of Opononi as Rift Herald has been started up and the ward over there is gonna be swept out. I don't think there's anything they can do to stop this.
Keeper's Verdict definitely way too late there, but that's not the only question mark I have. Why is Poppy moving down there? You have no vision, you just walk in 2 members and you die instantly.
Yeah, speaking of 2 members, the ladies here sitting off the wings, not necessarily the best idea. They might want to go in for this as the Shockwave is being used, but the Jarvan falling so low already. Nacha Adventure already getting killed onto the Void. They will still steal the Rift Herald away as the Super Mega Death Rocket comes through. Now they find the shutdown, and this might be the turnaround that they want. Snell now charging forward onto the Corki, taking a good deal of damage. The shields keeping her topped up, and the Honey Fruit as well. They're trading back and forth, but the kill goes over the way of the Corki. Now Bell is isolated, 2v1, the Permafrost coming in as well. I don't think she's going to be able to survive this any longer, as all across the map kills go the way of Opononi. They will not get the Rift Herald, but they will get 2 kills on the bot lane.
Too much of an overreach from While the idea was correct, the Jarvan jumps in, Command Shockwave follows up afterwards, but the damage just isn't there, and Opononi is able to just clean up, take the Rift Herald, take a bunch of kills. That's a huge advantage, 5k gold ahead.
I need to correct myself, it wasn't 2 kills, it's just a single one on the Jinx who did fall, so now she has to teleport to pick up all of the CS. But like you said, overreaching a bit too much there, ANY. You know, you find the primary engage, I think that's a bit too much, but then you steal the Rift Herald and continue the fight. That's, you know, you're pushing a luck, man.
Meanwhile, though, if you take a look at the bottom lane, there's a huge item discrepancy already. Look, you got Kai'Sa's already completed her first item. Meanwhile, Jinx is still sitting on, you know,
the making
what should become an Infinity Edge sooner rather than later.
Gold difference is pretty huge too, 1.2k in favor of the Kai'Sa. And if you saw earlier, because she got the Manamune as well as the pickaxe, this is a Q evolve. The Catherine Ring is going to be powered up now, coming in from the item. So small power spike garnered from WRDZ.
Yep, as they take this bot lane tower, they should have priority over the dragon as they try to run over right now, I think. No, Jarvan's just going to walk away, allow the Scorpius Boom to expire.
Now, if you are ANY, you kind of want to control this dragon because having double Inferno is the only thing that's stopping you, stifling the bleeding that the enemies are pushing ahead of.
Yep, but as you say that Opononi, it's Lemon Sugar and Nacha Adventure are moving down to clear those wards. Soon the dragons will be shrouded in darkness for ANY, but Opononi don't try to start it.
This is a dangerous point though, because they lost control of the vision around here. They weren't willing to fight over it. And blank vision into a Glacial Prison and package is just so devastating that you can't afford to even walk up and check this, right? The reason I'm so adamant about them holding priority over this is because you don't want to check into the Sejuani, but right now going all in into the Orianna. Good deal of damage though, the Jarvan deciding like he wants to go in for another one. A good shockwave across might just be enough, but a killer instinct to find the kill. Stopwatch from the Void at 10 health will find her going down in the end. And like we said, a bit too overeager seems to be the name of the game from ANY here.
You weren't able to take the fight because you didn't get enough damage earlier. Take a look now that Opononi does have the Infernal Dragon, what are you doing trying to go for a fight like that again? Opononi just come in and collapse 4-man onto the Jarvan, able to pick up 2 kills.
Now feeling a bit handsy once more, leading the charge forward is now the rest of the team just close behind as the tidal wave sails by. A good steadfast presence to deny Lemon Sugar's Arctic Assault. Meanwhile, flashing forward now, trying to get damage. A good deal of gold going across with the shutdown while the flying from Nacha Adventure as well as the Renekton for the cleanup. They managed to slam her to the wall in the exhaust, but no, the damage is too good. She dives the turret, she gets the kill, I say that. It's gonna be going the way of the Kai'Sa of Comfy Roof now, tanking it up as they juggle the aggro and walk away. The flank coming through from the Renekton and Corki was just way too much there, as Opononi finishes up that fight ahead once more.
And like you said, that was a huge flank. Imagine Renekton this far ahead goes in for a flank. That's already a ton of damage. Add onto the Corki. You're not gonna survive that.
It could have been much worse because a timely wall slam with the exhaust was like, okay, we could mitigate this for a while. But the moment the CC wears off, Renekton's like way back onto you, and there's no way you can escape through the slice and dice.
Meanwhile, ANY is trying to claw back a bit of an advantage. Orianna pushing down this
base Rift Herald.
Oh man, this is a tilter. We've seen this like 3 times this tournament.
I don't think it even gets a. I don't think he even gets a charge off. There's no way you even get a charge off.
You have 3 members in mid lane. You're not gonna allow this Rift Herald to go through.
Bell is escorting the Rift Herald forward, but the CC coming through, Permafrost and Concussive Blows means that Shelly is gonna fall. Doesn't even buy any space for them as they get this. The bounty going the way of the Kai'Sa 25 holders. Still 25 gold.
It's a bro moment.
Oh well. Right now, split push in effect, like we were saying. The secondary condition no longer picking off the enemy. Instead, it's going to be 1-3-1. Corki feeling very strong.
1-3-1 with the flanks. We saw that earlier. I think if they are able to keep pulling those things off, ANY definitely have to start investing a lot more in the vision.
Speaking of vision, Sparky and Lemon Sugar are clearing the wards out in the bottom half, and this forces the Jinx and Nami to just back off because they don't know who's around them. They don't know if the flank is coming through, like you said. The possibilities are endless when the opponents have control of vision, but right now, Bell, low on mana, has to back off. The Void Seeker is pretty good there as they find the Concussive Blows as well, Winner's Bite, and the Glacial Prison Killer Instinct in. This is a super dead Orianna. Although they commit multiple ultimates, but they find the pick, and should open up the rest of the map for them.
Hey, you say they couldn't find a pick, but when the Oriana's that far extended in a lane with no backup, well, I guess the opportunity just presents itself to you and you can just go ahead and take it.
Forcing it now, no more wave clear, or no more reliable wave clear I should say, in the mid lane means that the inner turret should be falling here. The Void doing her best to just stand around and look menacing as the Keeper's Verdict was used on Sparky, but eventually mid inner is gonna fall.
While in the bot lane, Jinx is just forced to back away here. I don't think she should stay unless she wants to. No, she's having backup on the team, so that's okay. But a 5-man push coming from Opononi should be able to siege down this tower.
Now remember, no Glacial Prison just yet, but a good deal of damages from the bombs coming in Natural Adventure. Cute but deadly is the tagline for this Corgi as they look to siege down mid inner as well. Lemon Sugar taking a good deal of damage, has to be careful about her spacing. Flame Chompers will be thrown out to stop this push, but once more the big one just chunking them out, zap across, will be dodged away.
The ability of this Corgi to poke right now is just so big that Aangwa have no way to sustain it.
Now leaping forward, but the flank coming through. I don't think they want to take this fight. Kodominus being popped but dissuaded away from the tidal wave. Here we come. The shockwave on the back is good though as they catch multiple members, but it's going to be a Jarman that falls first. In the middle of it all, Snell though tanking it up. Summer's not even able to do any damage. It's tough here as Bell has to flash away. Meanwhile, Comfy Roof and Natural Adventure still looking very confident, still feeling themselves as they dive in. The exhaust down. She has no mana. She's getting locked up as well, so they can't find the closing kills on this fight. But overall, they will be happy just backing off and sieging up just as I say that. Summers, what are you doing, lady? There's no position for you to be in under that turret now.
And that was a beautiful Glacial Fissure from the Braum to keep the Aangwa bot lane away so that Opononi is able to sweep out the rest of the fight. At the end of the day, I think if Summers was able to back off, they could have, just stemmed the bleeding a little bit, but she was picked up by the Renekton and it's just a bit unfortunate.
For some odd reason, she was just under the inner turret and you could feel like there was bloodlust in the eyes of Comfy Roof just diving in, getting the kill and the triumph. Now they turn their sights over to the Mountain Dragon and this is almost a free objective for them. There's nothing much that the ladies of Aangwa can do here.
Mountain Infernal, when you're this far ahead, you're very happy for Opononi.
Putting up access to the Baron as well. You can see wards being cleared up and dropped down. Priority belonging the way of Opononi.
Yep, Aangwa right now, actually the ones dropping down the wards, but Snell actually here, able to answer with some vision of their own.
Snell has to be careful with her positioning because on the previous fight she was the one that opened up on top of the Sejuani and sort of baited her team in, right? We saw the rest of them collapsing with her and getting flanked out by the Sejuani. A good deal of what's being placed around this pit, you can see as observers zooming out. One in the Tri-Brush, one in the Rip Buff. These are good choke points that Sejuani wants to fight around in. If you can isolate a Prime member with the Glacial Prison there, it's almost definitely a one fight.
I believe there is one. Is the top ward in the Baron Bush? That one doesn't actually see anything, is it?
Yeah, this ward doesn't really do anything right here unless...
But the one above it does.
Yeah, so the reason you put the ward there inside the Baron pit behind the Baron is because it's so tricky to clear if you don't have the proper way of clicking around it, right? If you do auto it, it ends up autoing the Baron instead. So it becomes very tricky and the vision is being denied here. Meanwhile, the Renekton being strong as she is, will be split pushing on the bottom half. Teleport available for Renekton as well. Super big threat there.
Yep, and now I think for the next few minutes we're going to see a Baron dance. Never mind, I'm lying as they start the Baron up.
Oh, this is a problem because the Baron is blocking vision of that ward. So not only is it tough to clear out, it gives full information of the Baron take right now from Opononi, and they will not be doing this in secret despite having a control ward inside. It's revealed away. The ball inside the pit is going to give them vision. It's down to 2.5k. This is a very, very bad fight. If they want to take it, it's going to be stolen away by Lemon Sugar. But a great Cataclysm and a Shockwave turns the fight around. A shutdown going the way of the support. But nevertheless, they will be looking to clean up this fight. A Super Mega Death Rocket into a wall slam gives them the ace. And Comfy Roof, no, not just the ace just yet, as the Renekton is still alive. But overall, just a massive, massive turn of events here in favor of Aangwa.
And that's absolutely the fight that you want. They're able to isolate, different members of it with the huge Cataclysm, and they just pile on the damage. Still, at the moment, there isn't much of a... the deficit is still pretty big, honestly. It's like 8k right now. So Aangwa does have to find more fights like that if they want any chance of getting back into this game.
But crucially, they managed to get Baron buff off 4 members. So despite getting the objective, walking away from that is the Renekton with the sole Baron buff on this team. Comfy Roof still pretty happy with that in the side lanes, but overall the impact has been lessened from that Baron take.
Yep. Still have to question whether or not Yanghua will have the damage if they want to try to pull something off like that again. You know, Rector wasn't actually in that fight. Well, didn't make the decision TP in. I think that was the good decision. If he did TP in, I think he would have died as well.
The problem with the composition that they're up against, your teleport takes a second and a half to channel, right? The burst damage from not only the Jinx but as well as the Orianna when they do pile on is so quick that if you arrive, you're always almost late.
The moment you get a kill on Jinx, that's when you have to be worried about the damage potential she gets from the Get Excited passive that she has.
And which other players you sort of put your eggs in a basket with other than Summers is the best choice, because in the previous game, the reason Yanghua progressed forward in the tournament was because she had that massive Caitlyn game against alternative ladies, right? This time on the Jinx, also a hyper carry, also possible. Put the team on her back and say, you know what, we'll be confident in taking this to the late game.
Yep, I think the other person you have to watch out for is the Void. I think the Cataclysm in that fight was the winning factor in why they actually got the victory in over Opononi. I think if she's able to continue finding those sorts of engages, they might still stand a chance, but you have to see whether or not that was just a lucky Cataclysm.
Right, execution is going to be called into question here. The itemization from the Void is so good though, because you're looking to get multi-man Cataclysms, right? The moment you find 3 or 4, you instantly pop Gargoyle Stone Plate, double your health. You'll be looking confident moving forward. Right now though, Siege coming through the 1-3-1. The secondary win condition for Opononi is still very much alive, as the Baron buff on Comfy Roof ensures that she pushes in now. The flank coming in, I don't think this is a fight you want to take. Flag and drag up, the dominance being used. A lot of ultimates being committed to find the Renekton, and they will eventually not get the kill eventually on Orianna as she flashes out.
Yep, forcing the flash on the Jarvan though is the Renekton. That is going to be one engage factor that they don't have for the next 5 minutes. Sort of mitigates the ability for this Jarvan to put down those sorts of crucial Cataclysms.
You can see though, in every fight still, despite having a man advantage, they always force something out when they turn on to the Renekton, and that caused so much doubt into the mind of the opponents. We commit Tidal Wave, we commit Cataclysm. Can we still get the kill though is the question, because they're so afraid the Renekton can turn the damage around.
Justifiably so though, this Renekton level 15 is huge. If you commit 1 or 2 members, you might actually be able to take that, but if you commit 3, 4 with their ultimates, he still forces a flash, so
I
that's
think
one dangerous crocodile.
This Inferno Drake, high priority for both teams because, well, it's Inferno Drake, right? But the scary part is Teleport is up for Comfy Roof, and there is a flanking ward just behind near the Grom. Yeah. So you have to be careful about how you position around this. Just behind him, there is a flanking ward as well. So if you commit into this Inferno, a teleport from the Renekton will just mess your day up. Instead, backing off, looking to play this one out safer. Just clearing out the Scuttle Crab to get some coverage of the area.
Yep, Yanghua definitely doesn't want to be too overzealous in this Dragon Pit. You can see on the minimap, you got the Sejuani and the Renekton positioning already for a potential fight.
Yeah, Vision here is only going to spot out the Dragon. But there's 4 members being set up here. As they journey in once more. The Braum has to be careful as she walks up. For some odd reason, they are stacking in the bottom wave as they try to catch the Glacial Prison, and they whiff the ultimate completely. I don't think that was the best position to be fighting in, because the distance was so far, your reaction time would have been there to escape from the ultimate.
Kai'Sa's here now, coming from the mid lane. Might be they might start it up.
They're still posturing around the area because you can see that they want the flank still. Comfy Roof now hovering off the side, will be spotted out by the ward. Now they look to disengage or at least stand together as one. The Aqua Prison not landing though is a bit of an issue. Now the flank coming in. Keeper's Verdict immediately used to pump the Renekton out, and this could be the fight that they want. A great Glacial Fissure will not get anything done as they turn the fight around with the Shockwave. Now it's the ones that are leading the fight on the red side as they put Hall down one by one, joining the fight with the teleport. What a weird position to come in on. So messy, I can't even keep track of this as Comfy Roof is just leaping forward and gets caught out. Back and forth overall, it will be 3 members of Yanghua that falls.
You have a great flank into a package and Glacial Fissure to push back the back line off Yanghua for Opononi to sweep up the Jarvan, make it 4v5, and clean up the fight afterwards.
And now they will get bought inhibited turret. Both teams just back and forth tug of war here as the objective will go the way of the ladies on blue.
Right now, Opononi shouldn't overextend here. They might not be able to take this fight with refreshed members of Yanghua. They take the smart move, they reset, and they might actually go for this dragon.
Still a couple of seconds left on the Poppy, who will be able to join the fight if they want to. instead will be moving over to the Inferno like you said and claim that for free. I don't think the ladies from ANY should be looking to move in on here. The objective is already taken the other two legs to the party. Still, Bell is just sitting around here, will spot Comfy Roof out.
Yep, not much for them to take. You have to be very careful. Opononi still chilling out around behind the wall though.
Oh, Demacian Standard will reveal the two members there as they turn the fight around and they find the Kai'Sa in the shutdown. Going the way of the Jarvan, now the Shockwave just for good measure. Keep the kill onto Lemon Sugar. Importantly, the jungler for Opononi is down and Baron is up, so this is a window of power that ANY can look to exploit over onto the next big objective.
Opononi, I have no idea what they were trying to do there. I think they weren't expecting the ball to come around that corner. But this is sort of indecisiveness and uncohesiveness that we're not used to seeing from this squad. Natural Adventure here pushing out the bottom lane.
Speaking of undecisive, they decide to sacrifice the Baron and move to the bot lane to get pushed down. One really here to deny this objective as Baron will be secured by the Void now. Hard recalls coming in. I don't think there's much that Natural Adventure can do. Scarfy coming in to deny the recalls, but eventually Bell will get out and find one single Corki pushing down.
Yep, sure. I mean, one kill for a Nexus Tower, I guess that's sort of worth. But at the end of the day, Corki does manage to pick up a tower and just walks out alive. I think if Braum wasn't actually there, Corki might have, you know, been a bit overextended. If 4 members do collapse on him, he could have been dead.
Thankfully, Sparky, being the sacrificial lamb, will allow her team to pick up the Nexus turret on the right. Now Corki finally finishing the Infinity Edge. This is 3 core item mid lane Corki. Being a very scary power point. I think Opononi is looking pretty good here.
Yeah, ANY, however, they do pick up the Baron, which gives them a little bit of breathing room, gives them a few more minutes to work with as they defend their base from the oncoming onslaught from the super minions in the bottom lane.
Now it's going to be the one dedicated to countering the wave push. With Baron up, minions should make short work of these super minion waves. New things on the top side. Looks like Orianna is going to be the one dedicated to shoving up top. Bell is going to collect a massive wave there. On top half, the Void now trying to put some warps down. Overall gold, we haven't talked much about it, but it is only 4k in favor of Opononi, which isn't that big when you consider it's 30 minutes in. Still, the dragons are the main story here. A mountain and 2 Inferno gives them so much free stats when it comes to fighting.
Yep, there's actually only 1 kill on this Jinx though. 1, 5, and 9 versus 9, 2, and 4. Actually might not be putting out as much damage as I thought previously, so if she's able to pick up a few more kills and, you know, in turn get those items, I think she can become much more devastating than she is now.
But a large part of this is because she was forced to go for the Last Whisper item as opposed to the second Zeal item. So she's not popping off crits as much as she wants to. As a result, her damage is greatly diminished when it comes to these team fights. But still, with the Baron up buff, we'll be able to claim the inner turret in mid lane. Facial Fissure being used only to knock up the Orianna, and these are desperation outs being casted to get something done. They find the kill on the Sparky, and the Cataclysm is the call to move in. A Shockwave finds the double kill. Now get excited is the Jinx. Summer's now running forward now, sieging down onto the mid inhibitor turret now. Comfy Roof now dealing with Snell. It's a multiple member base race as Snell and Comfy Roof fight this one out. Flash being used, but Comfy Roof gets the kill. And now this is a Jinx with the Ardent Sensor that's pushing down and they're pinging onto the base. Now Lemon Sugar has to be the one to defend this.
Base race coming in. Comfy Roof actually was a bit indecisive as you see a fight coming in.
Racha Adventure managing to get a couple of kills across now. The only members left alive. I think Comfy Roof might be able to do this. Bell now. Ooh. The recalls coming in. Yeji unconfirmed. They're not sure what they want to do. But meanwhile, it's going to be taken down here. Comfy Roof now on the last couple of hits on the Nexus. And Comfy Roof, the top laner for Opononi in a massive base race, somehow find a win for the blue team.
That was kind of hesitation that you don't want to see, but you will see in any sort of base race. If you take a look, both teams actually hesitated on hitting the tower. First, Renekton was contemplating whether to go back before her team actually pinged the Nexus Tower for her to go forward. But, you know, on the other side, we did see Nami actually do the same thing. At the end of the day, the Renekton does pick up the Nexus, and that's what really matters in the end. But good effort from both teams, I think. Sort of a few misplays, but...
One thing I want to say is that Natural Adventure respawning in time was crucial for them because she did manage to find a kill on the Jinx. Had the Jinx been alive the whole way, I think that base race would have gone completely differently, right? So credits to Nacha Adventure once more, stepping up in a huge way to lead her team to victory. Not to say that, Comfy Roof didn't do anything at all. She's been stepping up huge as well in multiple games for today and yesterday, but this time it's like the combined efforts of both top and mid, the solo laners, they've been putting them so far ahead in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, what else can I say about that? Oh my, that was an interesting game.
Yeah, once more
First base race we've seen.
Yeah, it's been a close one as well, With that, guys, we will be going for a short break, but when we come back, it's going to be Mythus Esports going up against Opononi, who are most definitely on a adrenaline high after their base race. Maybe looking to sit down and refresh their strategies and reset their mental states, because coming in against Mythus Esports, they're going to have their work cut out for them. But for now, guys, we will be going for a short break. When we come back, we have a next set of games for you. Don't go anywhere.